if you've ever taken a class with hers in studio, the Tread instructors, like they're lucky right now because the classes are so small. And if you've ever taken a class with her live, there's a 5-minute window between when the camera starts and when it actually goes live for a replay. And during those 5 minutes, she'll ask everybody in studio their name, where they're from, and then something funny like what's your favorite food. Like she actually cares. She wants to know about everybody. And that's just, it's wonderful to have an instructor that cares about that stuff.
It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. Know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out. This is episode 143. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. The sickness is setting in.
I know. I don't feel good. And I think it has arrived. I blame you.
You should. I had it on Saturday. I still have the cough. We'll probably edit out the lion's share of them.
I hope. There's goes one now.
That was just for show. But yeah, so I had it real bad on Saturday.
I think I overdid it signing up for homecoming today. That's what the final straw was.
That'll do it. Not to give too many details, but I lost 3.5 pounds on Saturday.
Yes, you did.
That is not hyperbole.
It's not. That was literal. 3.5
pounds on Saturday.
Yes, it was one day. Like literally 24 hours later.
Yeah.
Yes, that happened.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, low carb and bulimia it's not advisable, but it is effective. So hopefully you don't get that end of things.
I really hope not.
Also learned a very valuable lesson about when and when not to sneeze.
Let's leave it, Tom.
We'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
So leaving that behind us, no pun intended. What do you have in store for people?
We are going to talk about Peloton. Shocking.
Well,
I know. We are going to talk about homecoming. We've got lots to talk about. We have an interesting article from Motley Fool Investing. We're going to talk about an instructor that's no longer with Peloton. We have a visit from the Peloton Prophet. Ooh. And then all kinds of little detailed information about things that are happening.
Awesome. Well, before we get to all that and before she throws up on the microphone, shameless plugs. Don't forget, we're available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And of course, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. You'll get all sorts of things like handy tips about how to get your homecoming tickets. We had people saying
that we were the reason they got their tickets.
They were like, thank you, Crystal, for the tips. And I have tickets now, and it's all because of you. That's what they said. So, that's just another valuable service that we offer. And, of course, you can feel free to leave us a review there, Apple Podcasts or Facebook, wherever. We have a new review.
Yay. I want to hear it.
It's from iLisa1983.
Okay.
And she says, Peloton Prophet for the win.
I agree.
I've only had my bike for about 6 weeks and binge listened to all the episodes because I was so pumped.
Whoa.
I especially love the Peloton Prophet and getting insider information. Keep up the good work.
And just to be clear, the Peloton Prophet does not work for Peloton, so it is not technically insider information.
Yes, just we like to put that disclaimer on there.
Yes.
So Peloton doesn't think we've infiltrated the company.
Correct.
So there. So well, I guess that's all of that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
It's time for news of the Peloton.
I can't tell you how relieved I am that we got homecoming tickets today. I can't even imagine what this household would have looked like had we not managed to secure at least one ticket. I would stand out on the sidewalk and wait patiently for you. And by patiently, I mean at the Comedy Cellar.
It would not have been good.
No, it would not have been good.
Yeah.
So we don't mean
luckily, it's okay.
Yeah, we don't mean to rub it in the face of people who maybe tried and didn't get tickets. But I'm just saying it would have been ugly.
Yeah, it would have.
Yeah.
It would have. I mean, I was ready to go. I had 3 computers up. I had my phone. And I've talked about my coworker before who's kind of sort of my boss, who kind of sort of, gives me a lot of shit for a lot of things, including how slow I am. He speed shamed me one day.
For your running.
Yes. And I got to work and he was there and I was like, oh no, this is not good a day for him to be here. And I was like, listen, today's a big day for me. And you can mess with me all you want after I have the tickets.
Yes.
But until I have the tickets, you need to leave me alone.
Yes, you're like from 11 to 11:15.
Do not talk to me.
Shut your pie hole.
Right. And it's 11 to 11:15 because we're Central Time.
Right.
They went on sale at noon Eastern. But yeah. And so he came over and stood next to me while I was typing in the credit card information. And he was like, what are you doing? I was like, stop it. I was like, I will tell you in 30 seconds when this goes through. And then it went through and I was like, okay, we can all breathe now, people.
I think I feel pretty confident that the people were breathing the whole time.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. But I did it too.
I know. And I'm so grateful you did, because the first time mine didn't go through.
Yeah.
Like it was like, we had an error. Could you do that again? And I was like, no.
Like, what?
Yeah. And so I did it again and it went through that time and it was all good.
So last year it sold out in 12 minutes, this year in 9.
I actually don't know how many minutes it was last year. Was it 12?
I thought that's what everybody said. It was really fast.
But like last year, the difference is that they had Saturday packages and Sunday packages, and there was all kinds of confusion because Saturday sold out really fast. Sunday never sold out. So if it really sold out in 12 minutes last year, that was only for Saturday. This year, it sold out in 9 minutes for the whole shebang.
Yeah. I know some people are upset because they didn't get to pick but like the thing is even if you did get to pick, you probably wouldn't have gotten to pick.
Yeah.
So
I get that people want to be in a class with somebody. They probably need to figure that out. Like they need to say like, I want to take a class with this person and like add a box to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then you like link each other. But it's just so hard. And yeah, it's just going to be hard. But I think that it went beautifully compared to last year. It was perfect compared to last year.
That is true.
I mean, last year, it didn't even happen on the first day.
Right. The site didn't crash. They didn't have to, refund a bunch of tickets and have everybody start over. So I think it was a marked improvement over last year.
I agree. And I know that it sold out really fast, but like there's 750,000 subscribers to Peloton,
right? And
there are 3,000 tickets. So you kind of had to see that coming.
Yeah. I mean, unless they figure out a way to accommodate more people.
Yeah.
This is not going to get better anytime soon.
It's not.
At least I hope it's not.
Right.
Right. Because if it gets easier to get tickets,
then that means nobody's interested anymore.
People aren't as interested. So that's
right.
Yeah.
And it's tough because a lot of people are like, I don't want to deal with it on Peloton. I don't want to deal with homecoming weekend. I want to go on my own. I've been whatever. Yeah. And I get that.
Totally.
But like for us, we kind of have to go. And I mean that like I want to go, but we can't go to New York 2 or 3 times a year. So this is it.
Yeah.
Because I want to see as many people as possible. Yeah. So this is it. I love it.
So hopefully you got your tickets. If not, if you're waitlisted, hopefully someone has a change of plans and you get unwaitlisted.
I think for those of you waitlisted, there's a lot of you that have a very good chance of getting in because you can refund up until 4/1. So let's say, schedules come out on March 9th. So whatever classes you picked, you said, I have these 5 bike instructors. I have these 3 tread instructors. So let's say that people get their schedules on March 9th and they're not happy with it. And so now they're not going. They're going to be asking for a refund.
Right.
That means you on the wait list move up in line. So I really do think that that's gonna help people.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that can go to New York frequently, that live close or travel a lot for work, if they don't get the classes they want, I think you will see them bailing and those waitlist people will move in. So
it happened last year.
Yeah, so keep your fingers crossed. Don't lose hope.
And another date you need to know is February 24th. You can make changes on your preferences for the instructors you chose up until February 24th. You just log in and you go make your changes. So
good to know.
February 24th. Schedules come out on March 9th. Refund until April 1st.
Awesome. I thought it was interesting. Someone posted on our page that people in the UK, some people call it the UK, they were wanting to buy tickets and they were struggling because it made you enter a zip code and they don't have zip codes. Over there, they call them crisps. Is that how that works?
No.
Something like that.
They have postal codes, but it wouldn't accept foreign zip codes.
Right.
It only accepted U.S. zip codes.
But I thought it was great that So apparently some people that lived over there, they only knew one zip code, and it was 90210.
So there's a lot of people coming from 90210.
So they just plugged it in and it worked. So,
I mean, that made my day.
Yes.
That was so funny.
So if you see lots of people with British accents but large sideburns, it's because of 90210.
It's too soon.
The show's associated with sideburns.
I know. I just miss Luke Perry. But anyway, yeah, so I really think this is going to be great. Did you want to talk about anything that's like coming up for homecoming? You kind of talked about you wanted to go through the site and like talk about all the stuff. Now you look like you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I was like, you should go through this site.
Well, I'm happy to go through the site.
Was there any highlights that you saw that you thought people should know about?
Yeah, I mean, things are different from last year. So one thing I've learned about Peloton is they change things every year. They don't do the same thing twice, which I really appreciate. So like last year, everybody was really ticked off that there were a limited amount of spots for the community run. This year, no limit. Everybody was invited. So Friday, 3 p.m., everybody can join the community run. That means that it doesn't count as one of your classes, which I don't think it did last year either, but you still get a studio class. So this year, another thing that's different is you don't get to pick your studio class, because last year you had the stress twice. You had the stress of buying the ticket. Then once you had the ticket, you had to go and pick your instructor. And that was insanity. Like that was a knockdown, drag out fight, and everybody ended up pissed off about it. So you get one class. And for those of you who are new to this whole realm, not everybody's going to get a bike class. There's 3,000 people coming. There's no way to fit 3,000 people on the bikes in one weekend.
Right.
There's only 70 bikes. Well, we'll get there later. We think there's 70 bikes. So you can't. It's just the math isn't there. So that means some of you are going to be on treads. Some of you are going to be on bikes. Some of you are going to be in yoga. You got to pick from 2. And then you said, I would like these instructors. And you picked from 5 on the bike. You picked from 3 on the tread. All of that was different from last year. So on March 9th, you're going to get handed an instructor.
Right.
That's all different.
But that instructor is yours to keep. You get to take them home.
No, Tom.
And you get to raise them.
No.
But you got to feed them or we'll take them back to the pound.
And another thing is they have said that there is a community celebration, but we don't know. Is it Friday night? Is it Saturday night? We don't know anything yet.
Right.
We do know it's at a place called Terminal 5, and it's a giant ballroom. It seats 3,000 people. Now, the look of the place tells me we're going to have another musical guest, but I don't know that that's the case. That is purely speculation on my part. I'm very curious to see.
Yeah, it's definitely a concert venue.
I know it is.
So, I mean, I'm saying for the listeners, it's definitely a concert venue. So, I think it very much stands to reason that there will be some sort of musical guest attached.
Also, it's in Hell's Kitchen. That will be the first time I've been in Hell's Kitchen. Not that that matters. I just like saying that.
Well, Hell's Kitchen is right next to Times Square, so we've probably walked through it.
Oh, you think? I just didn't know. There wasn't like an alarm that went off and was like, you're in Hell's Kitchen.
Well, it's not scary anymore.
I know, but
in fact, I think they actually call it Hex Kitchen now.
Maybe they do.
They do. That's a true thing I just made up.
A true thing I just made up. And so there's 2 hotels that they recommended. There was the Even, and then there was the Crowne Plaza. I have heard that the rooms are all booked at the Even already.
Yikes.
Boom, gone. Crowne Plaza, last I heard, they're still available. Let's see, what other things? Can you transfer an event package to another member? No, you can't. Like, don't even try. They're not going to let you. It's not happening.
So I can't scalp mine on the secondary market?
Mm-mm. You cannot.
Damn it.
Also, another question I have heard a lot. Can I still attend the warehouse sale? No, you can't. It says only if you have a package.
Wow.
And they really stuck with it last year. They were like, no. And there are a lot of people who were like, well, I live in the city, but I'm not going to come to homecoming, so I want to come hang out with you. No, you can't. I mean, we can always meet up with people, but they can't come to these things.
Right.
It's not a thing. So it's going to be a great time. I know there's some of you that are nervous. Like, I don't know if I'm going to like all these people. You will, because there's a ton of first time people that come. You will recognize people.
I feel like as it gets bigger, you're getting more first time people coming. Like a lot of people are like, I liked it better when it was smaller. Like the people that had been doing it every year are starting to be like, no, thank you. And because of that, more first timers can come. So at least based on chatter online, that was my takeaway.
I would agree with that. I think that you will have a good time. You're only going to get one studio workout, but you could come Thursday if you wanted, or you could stay an extra day. I mean, obviously, if your schedule and budget allows.
Not everybody has that flexibility, but if you do, that's something to consider.
Yes, those are things to consider. The other thing I will tell you is last year on Sunday, it was really dead. So there might be some things that you want to do that you didn't think you should stay for. It was really, really slow in the open space where they had all the instructors compared to Saturday. I don't know what it'll look like this year because the schedule's not out, but just keep that in mind. People seem to be really focused on the Saturday activities. Also, everyone stays up late the night of the celebration. There's a lot of drinking. A lot of people don't make it to their classes Sunday morning. Who would not make it to their class on Sunday morning? I don't know what you're talking about. So,
do you have any sort of anecdotal evidence that would back up this theory?
So make sure that you go, if you want to take classes, show up on those mornings because they usually have a wait list right there that you can just hop in. So.
And your odds will be very good on the Sunday because
good.
Krista won't make it. I think you're 3 for 3 now, right?
No. I did my classes last year. I did my classes.
Didn't you have a Sunday class that you blew off last year?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought you did.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think so. Because I only had one and I took yours, but it was like a tread and I don't know. All the years are starting to kind of
blur
commingle.
Together. Yes. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of information for you and more tips and things to look for and whatnot.
Yes.
So last week we talked about the stock price and the quarterly earnings report.
I was so pumped after that earnings call.
We were so wrong, which is another good example of why you should not come to this show for investment advice.
You should not.
We do not know what we're talking about. But Motley Fool, a investing website and I believe podcast, had an interesting article about why the stock decline after that quarterly earnings report was dumb.
Yeah. And literally the title is Why Investors Overreacted on the Peloton Q2 earnings. So they overreacted for sure. So basically we talked about last week. I'm not going to recap all of that. I felt like it was great. And I explained to you guys about the difference between last year versus this year and how it meant that there were 6,000 orders they pulled into second quarter, which meant they lowered third quarter earnings estimates. And apparently that was the panic button issue.
Yeah.
Because they lowered third quarter. So, oh my God, it must be terrible. And I just feel like, wow, if you guys had gone to the earnings call, maybe you would have understood that.
And that's the problem with the stock market, right? They're basically trying to incentivize them to not deliver the bikes as quickly as possible so they would land in a different fiscal quarter. And that's dumb and short-sighted.
I agree. I mean,
So thank you, Peloton, for not doing something that dumb.
I totally agree. Well, and so this article covers that. They cover how it's going to make this year compared to last year. It's going to be tough because if you're just looking at Q3 compared to Q3, that's not going to be apples to apples anymore.
Right.
So all of that was addressed in the earnings call. And so their recommendation is just stay the course because the Peloton, they raised the full year guidance. Like they reduced the third quarter, but they raised the full year from 1.53 billion to 1.55 billion. That is a 68% year over year at the midpoint. I mean, that is crazy high growth, like crazy high.
Yeah.
And again, as I said last week, it's going to be between 920,000 and 930,000 subscribers. That is an increase of 81% in subscribers at the midpoint over last year.
Whoa.
I mean, those are fantastic numbers.
So basically, it's just a bunch of people that want to make money right now, and they're mad about it.
Yeah, and that's just the way the stock market is.
Yeah, they're like, gut your company and give us all the cash now, and then we will love you.
Yeah, they just haven't figured out that Peloton is different.
Yes, and good. So JJ resurfaced this week.
Yes, Jennifer Jacobs, for those of you who are new to the community, she popped up on the internet. She was on the television show I'm sure everybody's heard of called The Doctors.
The Dr. Phil spinoff.
It's not the Dr. Phil spinoff. They've been around for a long time.
But they started...
Did they start because of Dr. Phil?
It's his production company, and he used to have the people from The Doctors on his show all the time, and then he kind of launched it as a show. Like, you've seen them on this show, now I've bundled them all together on this new thing called The Doctors. And so I
didn't realize it specifically came from Dr. Phil.
Yeah, it did.
But at any rate, so Jennifer Jacobs was on, and she was in a segment that they were talking about how to get out of a weight loss plateau. And there was also one of our own Pelotoners, Sherry. Oh, where is Sherry's last name? It doesn't say Sherry's last name on here, but I know she is a Peloton owner, and I know she has worked with Jennifer Jacobs. And Jennifer Jacobs had tips for her. They worked out together. They did a whole thing. And Jennifer Jacobs did a great job. You will be able to find that video in the newsletter this week so you can see for yourself. But Jennifer Jacobs did a really good job. And I think that she is hitting the media circuit hard.
Yeah.
She showed up last week as well. So I think that she is really trying to kind of make her own niche as an influencer outside of Peloton.
I think that's smart.
I think it is too.
And if you want my tips for overcoming a weight loss plateau, I would recommend the stomach flu. 3.5 pounds in a day.
No.
The Peloton Prophet
has returned.
Has a new prediction for us.
Dun, dun, dun. So lots of people have been asking. I have been getting messages daily, you guys. When is the new Super Studio opening? Super Studio, not Studio. I don't even know what that accent was. The Prophet says in March.
Okay.
Like real soon. So I don't have an exact date. The Peloton Prophet did not give me one, but the Peloton Prophet is very confident it's happening in March. That means for those of you keeping score, we are going to have all new experiences during homecoming. We don't know how big the studio is going to be or how many bikes there will be or how many treads there will be. We do know that it's all going to be in one place. How amazing will that be?
That's pretty cool. Do we know anything about places to wait nearby?
We don't.
Okay.
It's in Hudson Yards, which actually is huge. So it's like a giant mall thing, I think. So maybe you can walk around. They have that.
I don't know that I'll walk around. Do they have like rascal scooters I could scoot around?
No.
Oh.
Don't forget, Dr. Jen Mann might be there, Tom.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
To wear a disguise. I'll wear a tracksuit. She'll never expect to see me in athletic wear.
Your laugh will give you away.
Damn it.
Oh, that is very exciting, though. I can't wait to see.
It'll be cool to see what the new digs look like.
It will.
So here's your moment of awe.
Aww. This is actually really sweet. Yeah.
There was an engagement at the studio last week.
Yes. Yeah. It happened live. One Peloton social media captured it. It was all over the place. If you somehow missed it, don't worry. I will be sending it out in the newsletter. But it was right after Kendall's ride on February 8th. It was Dina M. and Jeremy B. from Laredo, Texas got engaged.
Aw.
Yeah. It was really sweet. I wonder if they're going to have the wedding at Peloton.
I'm going to predict no.
Okay.
Although if they do, Maddie should become an officiant.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
You want to get remarried just so we could do that?
I do. I wonder if Maddie would do that.
So the comeback program is officially a year old.
It is. Yeah, and they have do you know how many people that they have provided comeback bikes for?
Hang on. So carry the 1, 3.
No.
Oh.
You're a little low. 400.
Wow.
Yeah. 1 year, 400 bikes.
Good for them.
I agree. It's amazing. So for anybody out there saying Peloton doesn't do nice things, suck it.
Now the next thing will be, but that's not enough nice things.
Whatever. I disagree with those people. That is a lot of bikes. I mean, that's like what, 5? I can't do math. Is that like 5 a week? That's a whole bunch. It's a whole bunch.
I don't know. I was a mass communications major. Don't ask me these things.
Okay, I know somebody's doing the math right now and laughing at me, but it was a lot. So to celebrate, the
people that did the math that quickly and you're laughing at us, like that's how I am with dick jokes.
That's true.
I'm like, come on, how are you not saying this?
And I don't have a thing that I'm like, but anyway, YouTube video was created by Peloton and it's amazing. I feel like you kind of need to cry if you watch this, but like in a good way, like in a heartwarming, that's beautiful way, you know? And if you didn't cry, Tom, you have a heart of stone.
I do have a heart of stone, though.
This is a beautiful, beautiful video. They did such a good job on it.
My heart only is malleable for you.
Aw.
Oh, and like, I guess, the kids and stuff. They're okay. So Maddie and Anna made a trip to Cleveland.
They did.
So did they lose a bet? What's going on? There's not a lot of cities people in St. Louis can make fun of. I feel like Cleveland is one of them.
I don't know. They have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but look at all the cool bands they won't let in.
Okay, that's true. That is a really good point.
So
that is a really good point.
Take that, Cleveland listeners.
Well, they also had a wonderful visit from Maddie Magiacomo and Anna Greenberg. They were there for a meet and greet on February 12th. And you could get all of your gear personalized if you brought it in. So super jelly because we didn't have that here.
Oh, they had like a little machine that would like stitch your name on it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's kind of spiffy.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I mean, you could probably just find a store that would do that.
Okay, I know, but there's something about having it done officially. I like the official stuff. Like there's a ton of illegal Etsy stores out there that I can buy Peloton knockoff stuff, but like I would like to buy the real Peloton stuff.
Yeah, I bought a really cool clap out crystal shirt.
It's just not the same.
It's not the same.
Oh, but they just take the logo and use it in these illegal Etsy stores.
It's pretty egregious.
Yes, it is. The ones on Instagram are really bad, though. Whoa.
It's like those Facebook T-shirts that just like list 100 adjectives.
Yes.
And then, like, I'm a soccer driving mom who loves star fruit and once went to Australia and also...
And you need the shirt.
But now I have a T-shirt. Like, what? What is happening? It's like someone just threw a bunch of refrigerator magnet poetry at a T-shirt.
You're getting
very odd.
You're way off kilter.
Sorry.
Bring it back.
Okay. There's a new artist series continuing Peloton's celebration of artists I've met. Last week it was the Spinners.
Yes, and I did remember to send out the picture.
I saw that.
Yes.
So this time it's with Smokey Robinson.
Well, you're going to have to send me that picture as well.
Okay.
So yes, Smokey Robinson. And the first one is with Hannah Marie Corbin. There's going to be a ride on Thursday, the 13th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then I guess Hannah is also doing a post-ride stretch on demand on Sunday.
Okay.
And then Maddie is doing a stretch on Valentine's Day at 8:35 a.m. Eastern. And Dennis Morton is doing a 30-minute yoga flow on Tuesday, the 18th at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome.
Yes. All good stuff.
So
the 10-minute stretches really threw me off. They've never done that before. So curious.
Well, keep an eye on in this week's newsletter so you can see picture of me and Smokey Robinson. It'll be very exciting for you.
The highlight of everybody's week.
Yes. And then finally, there's an instructor quote collection that's on sale now.
Yeah. So it's been up, but like they brought back everything and they placed it under the sale tab. And so in the past, it was a new collection. So when you went to the page, it was like right there. But this one was buried under the sale tab.
Very sneaky.
So a lot of people missed it. But they brought back all of the sports bras for all the instructor quotes that were in the winter collection last year. And they had all the T-shirts. So all of the instructor stuff was back. I think we're down to very, very limited selection again now. But there was everything a couple days ago. So.
Gotcha. Well, but I guess the takeaway here, though, is maybe every once in a while comb through those other sections.
Yeah, you absolutely should keep an eye out on that sale one because they don't announce it all the time. Or when they do announce it, they announce it after it's been up for a while.
Right.
And for those people that constantly keep an eye on the boutique, they get the first dibs and then they tell everybody on Facebook and it's gone. I mean, I'm one of those people.
Yes.
So yeah, that would be me. Sorry.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
So joining us today via the magic of Skype-a-phone is Nicole O'Mara. Hey, Nicole, how's it going?
Hi, guys. Good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
We're so excited this is happening.
Me too. I'm very excited. I've been thinking about it since you emailed me.
So tell us how you originally found Peloton.
So Peloton kind of came into my life. My very good friend was a avid soul cycler. And she was preparing for her wedding and she was spending so much money on taking these soul cycle classes that her husband had said, you have to stop doing this. She did some research and found out that there was this bike that came out that you can purchase and take these classes from home. So me not being athletic or doing any kind of physical activity, I made fun of her and said, this is ridiculous. You're going to ride a bike in your apartment. And she said, yeah. And then I realized it was 2 weeks into February and I hadn't purchased my husband a birthday present yet. So I said, this is the time. Exactly. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. So I bought it. They called me later that day and said, it's coming in a week, which was perfect because it actually arrived on his birthday. So,
oh my gosh.
So you looked like you were crushing it.
Wife of the year.
Yeah.
I was like, I think he used to spin like 10 years ago. This will be pretty good. But, during that time, I was doing a lot of research about it. And I said, I want to get into shape. I want to lose some weight. So this is something that I really want. So even though it was a present for him, I still say it's my bike. Yes.
How does he feel about that?
When we would argue over whose turn it was to take a class, he'd say, well, this is my present. And I'd say, well, I bought it. And then, I would always win. But yeah, it was a battle in the beginning.
That's pretty much marriage in a nutshell.
That's right.
So you said you weren't really working out before this.
No.
You work out all the time. So I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah. I lived in the city for about 8 years. And while I was there, I had a personal trainer because even though I belonged to a gym, I couldn't trust myself to actually go. And if I did go, I wouldn't know what to do. And someone wasn't forcing me to do something. So I got a trainer. And then when I, moved out of the city, I was here for about 4 years and just did absolutely nothing. So to get a bike and to all of a sudden start working out was something that was just not, it was something that was just completely new to us. So it was a great addition for us.
That's awesome. So who has more rides at this point?
Oh, I do. Absolutely. Actually, he just celebrated his 250th, I think. We went into studio for it. It was great.
Okay. But I can't remember what number you're on. I know it's not. I know.
Like 417-ish.
I was like, I know it's a lot more than 250.
Yes. Yes. It would have been a lot more, but then I had bought the Tread a year ago. So that's, what had happened.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
It takes a bite.
It does. So what do you think your fitness level is now compared to then?
It was a 0 then. So I would say, no, it's definitely, I work in the city. So walking up subway stairs, I used to not be able to do that without huffing and puffing. And I'm able to do that now. I did the Peloton 5K. I remember Alex had I think a 90-minute ride. I must have taken it like 20 times. I just loved it. So, being able to actually have a cardio level that I could, just at all is something that's it's mind boggling to me that I actually have the ability to do pretty much anything after having not doing anything for a really long time.
Your
That's
cardio
awesome.
is so good, you could take up smoking now. Isn't that how that works?
Yin and the yang, right?
Right, yeah. You can offset it. And so now it's pretty much...
You always find the positive.
Yeah,
Tom.
it's like revenue neutral.
Okay, so then you got the Tread a year ago. How did you end up forming the You Get To crew? How did that happen?
So when having the bike, I immediately fell in love with Alex and I just loved his positive vibes. I love hip hop music. So it was an instructor that I immediately had a connection with besides him being, really easy on the eyes. So I really that was things that were important to me, wanting to take a class because you love the music and really just liking the person and their vibe. And when I had gotten the Tread, my friend Gina had said to me, if you like Alex, you're going to love this girl, Jess.
Gina Mitchell?
That's right. Of course, the one and only.
That's right.
So I got the Tread and I saw that she had a 20-minute 90s hip hop class. And I said, there's nothing else in the world I love more than 90s hip hop. So I took it and song after song, it was as if it was being taken off of my playlists. The songs that my friends say, I can't believe you still listen to this music. And I was like, this is great. And her vibe is so positive and so great that I fell in love with her immediately. Her tagline, you don't have to, you get to, and it's a privilege to be able to move our bodies like this is something that really hit home for me. I think a lot because I really did no physical activity for such a long time. I also was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 13 years ago, and being a young woman living with MS, and I couldn't find anything that I wanted to do to improve myself physically. It was kind of something that was really hard to wrap my head around. And when she said, you don't have to do this, you get to do this, it took my breath away because riding the bike, I would do it because there's just so many people out there that are physically unable to do that. And it's something that I would always think of whenever I would step into any kind of class. And as soon as she said that, I was like, wow, this is really amazing. And I was actually at the bike studio with the Feel Good family. We were taking one of Alex's Club Bangers classes, and she walked past me and I stopped her and I said, oh my God, you're Jess Sims. And she said, yes. And at first I thought that she was kind of shocked that she had been recognized. Little did I know that Gina had just done the same thing 2 seconds before in the lobby. And she was kind of coming off of her fangirling. And then she turns a corner and I'm like, oh my God. And I said to her, I'm like, I need to come into studio. I want to take a class with you. And she said, of course, anytime you want. And I had spoke to a couple of my other girlfriends that, were really liking her. I said, we should do this. And every week that I would go in and I would see her, I said, we started this tribe and we're at 100 members, we're at 200 members. And she was just so flattered and so blown away because at that time she was the newest tread instructor. And just the other day we hit 1,300 members and it happened in less than a year. And it's crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy, particularly since she arrived at either the tail end or after all the rest of the instructors had left the group. So it is fascinating that it's grown as much as it has, considering that she's not even in the group.
Yep, exactly.
But you do a great job of communicating to the group through Jess or vice versa, like allowing Jess to have a voice in the group through you, I guess would be a better way to say that.
Right.
And so that's awesome that you do that.
She really wants to play as much of a role as she can. Obviously the instructors are very limited in what they can do with their tribes. But if something really great's going on, like I'll ask her advice on something. We do a lot of challenges. So I'll say, we're doing like a monthly challenge. How do you think we should balance this? Because I'm not a fitness instructor. I really don't know what I'm doing. I want everyone to be able to do what they're physically able to do and to do it safely. So she'll say, okay, don't work out too much. A rest day is really important. So she'll give the advice to us, which is really great. She'll interact with us as much as she can, but she involves, if you've ever taken a class with hers in studio, the Tread instructors, like they're lucky right now because the classes are so small. And if you've ever taken a class with her live, there's a 5-minute window between when the camera starts and when it actually goes live for a replay. And during those 5 minutes, she'll ask everybody in studio their name, where they're from, and then something funny like what's your favorite food. Like she actually cares. She wants to know about everybody. And that's just, it's wonderful to have an instructor that cares about that stuff.
So since you have a tread too, like where do you gravitate there?
My bike has collected a lot of dust since I've gotten the tread. I feel very accomplished on the treadmill. I think because I never run before. Like my friends have run marathons and I say, you are out of your mind. So the fact that I actually can even keep up any kind of pace, I amaze myself that I'm actually able to do it. So I feel very accomplished on the tread. I really like the boot camps. I like being able to take the class and then to, go on the floor and do weights and stuff. I feel really proud of myself. I feel proud after taking a biking class, but like the tread, for some reason, it's like all of a sudden I feel like, wow, I actually could be a runner, even though I may run slower, but I think that I'm moving in the direction of being a runner. Yeah.
No speed shaming here.
Yes.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. It's interesting how people are, I never realized it because it's about exercise. So I never thought about it. But how many people are really intimidated by running versus biking.
Well, I mean, running, you're propelling yourself, your entire body, whereas biking, you're using your legs to propel yourself on wheels. It's a lot harder to run than it is to bike.
Yeah.
I think. And so I think that's why it's so intimidating. And when you don't have the fastest speeds like myself, then you can see an improvement as well as you go through time. And I was never super fast on the bike either. I don't know if there's just because there's so many people that own the bike. There's a lot of people that are at the bottom of the leaderboard with me. And on the tread, that's not necessarily true.
Right. I agree.
So
who was the tread a present for? Out of that.
So it's funny that you asked that question. So it was 2 years ago at HRI, and the buzz was the tread, right? Because they had just announced it earlier in the year and everyone was talking about it. And my husband, his name is Lucas, he said, this tread seems really interesting because they were talking about like the boot camps and stuff like that. So I was like, all right. So I went into the other room and I reserved one. And funny enough, it came the week before Christmas. So there you go. It was his Christmas present. They wheeled it in and he was like, what is that? I'm like, Merry Christmas. He's like, what? So the same arguments happened. It thought it was my birthday present. I should be able to ride it. Then that's my Christmas present. I should be able to run. I'm like, take it easy over there. Yeah.
Christmas is for everyone.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this year for Christmas, he got the tonal, which means I actually got it for myself. So, I kind of live my life with it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. So
I know I was picturing the conversation when he was like, that sounds interesting. Of you being just like, well, if you insist.
That's pretty much how it was.
He's like,
All right, if you say
I didn't
so.
insist. No, it's fine. Don't feel like you have to back out. It's okay.
That's exactly how it was.
I've had this conversation.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Multiple versions of it.
Yeah.
So do you consider Jess your favorite instructor, or like your favorite instructor on the tread, but Alex is still your favorite bike instructor? Or how do you manage that?
Yes. Well, it's a very interesting question because so Alex is my person on the bike. Nothing against any of the other instructors,
right.
But as you know, you vibe with one person more. And Jess is definitely my person on the tread. It's just, I love her techniques. She's really funny. She's really quirky. She says things sometimes I'm like, what? Where? And with the You Get To crew, we laugh at it. And it's not that we mock her because that's not what we're doing. But we're like, can you believe that Jess says that she can't stand the word bulb? Like she said that the other day in a pre-show. And
like light bulb?
I'm bulb, like a garlic bulb.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? And I'm at home and I'm like, what did she just say? And then you have a whole conversation about it. And it's hysterical. We'll change our pictures to things that she doesn't like, hashtag in different locations just to kind of stick it to her. But she interacts really well and she's very quirky. So I like the way that she teaches classes. I feel like I'm able to, follow her really well. And she's just a really nice person. So
I really like her listening games, and I really like how playful she is with the other instructors. Like when she went on the trip with Bex and she had all those funny, those were the best Instagram stories ever until Maddie scared the crap out of her.
That was the funniest thing ever.
Oh my God.
And Bex did it too. Don't forget Bex did it too. She did it first.
Yes,
she did it first.
That is true. That is true. That is a good point. And Tom, I don't know if you've seen it this week, but I'm sure you've seen it so Maddie is going to do her class for her on Saturday. And so she did an age progression filter on Maddie for the class. And he's an old man in the picture. She said, Grandpa Maddie.
So good. It's so good.
I love it.
Yeah, the banter back and forth is great. It really is. I love it. It's very playful, but they're also supportive of each other. It's great.
So do you think that the community for the tread is different than the community for the bike?
I think that the community for the tread right now is how the community for the bike was when the bike first started. Like I've had the bike, it's going to be 3 years. And I remember taking classes and there was 400 or 500 people in the class. And even a year ago, starting to take the tread classes, there were 40 people in the class. Now, I think Jess did a class the other day. There was like 400 people in it. And Maddie's, Gaga run, like a lot of people in it. But it's really great to have been in the beginning because when you see the same 40 names on the leaderboard, you get to know them a little bit better. And it's the same thing how it was in the bike. When you would see the same people in your classes and you meet them in person and you get to make that connection. I feel that everyone that got the tread is the community that it's being had right now is very similar to how the bike was when the bike first started. So it's the tight, everyone's very tight knit. And I really want that to continue in the You Get To crew because everybody in the crew, they're so inspiring and they amaze me with their accomplishments. And, and it's nothing against people who just ride the bike because they're amazing too. But when someone tells you they ran a marathon, you can't help but be in awe of those people. We started doing this thing in which we feature somebody every single day. So I asked people who want to participate to send me their leaderboard name, something about themselves, what you do for a living, your favorite memory of Jess, and why you consider yourself to be a badass. And the things that people say that they have accomplished we're talking cancer survivors, people that are currently living with cancer, parents of, twins, people that have one child, people who have special needs kids, someone who tore both of their ACLs and then played basketball in college. Someone who got hit by a car and then ran a marathon. Someone who, woman who placed first out of all women in this die-try competition. these people, they're amazing. I'm in awe of them. And I'm so lucky to be in a group with them, you know? And there was a woman that we featured just the other day. She said that Peloton allowed her to step back into her power. And that made me warm and fuzzy, because it's like, that's exactly what we're doing every single time we're getting on the bike or stepping onto this tread. We're taking the power back. We're taking time for ourselves. Everyone could be doing a million other things every single time they choose to get on one of those pieces of equipment. And I feel that us showing up for each other, we're showing up for the instructors also. You know, like to have a leaderboard go from 40 people to 400, like how great does that make you feel? How great does that make the instructors feel? I feel like that because it's just starting up, that community is just so tight. And it's really an amazing thing to be a part of, because everyone's amazing. Amazing.
I think that part of that comes from the leadership within each group, because every group has their own vibe. And so I really appreciate how you have such a positive personality, and you're always cheering people on and saying great things to people. And I know lots of other people really appreciate that too. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
And you have a lot to do with that community doing well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What's your background in terms of like, do you have that in like your job place, or
are you HR?
Yeah.
No, definitely not. You know, I'm a private banker. I'm a private banker in Manhattan. I'm positive for my clients, but no. You know what the thing is? I really feel that when I was first diagnosed with MS, like I had this calm that came over me, and I said to myself, okay, I'm going to be living with this for the rest of my life. I need to be strong. I need to be mentally there. And as I was kind of just coming to terms with it myself, I realized that my family around me, they were having a harder time than I was having, just coming to terms with this is something that's happening to me. So I tried to be extra strong for them. And I realized that that's something that I've kind of just carried with me, that I would always say, the amount of times I said, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, when I really wasn't, but I had to be fine for them because they were falling apart on the inside. And I feel like that just the positivity that I've had that in me, because I want everything to be fine, because it has to be. And in the group, when it's like, oh, you know, I really wanted to get, 3 miles in my 30-minute class, it's just like, hey, you got 2.98. You'll get it next time. Everything's fine. We're all doing a great job. We're all showing up. We're all here for each other. If I'm taking a class and that's on demand, and one of my friends had gotten a milestone and just called out, congratulations on your 200th run, I cheer as if I'm standing right next to them, screaming behind them to keep going. It's really a crazy thing that you have this like connection to people virtually. It's an amazing thing. But to answer your question, no, I do not have that in my career in the least.
It's in your DNA.
It is.
I feel like it's kind of something that I've grown into for sure. Yeah.
So non-Peloton related, but I'm just curious, what exactly does a private banker do?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So I have a very wide range of clients, mostly based in Manhattan, and it's anything that you need as a business owner, I do for you, and I make your life a lot easier than it needs to be. So you call me, you need a transaction to be done. You need to order checks. You need that. It's a lot of schmoozing. I'm interacting with people all day. So maybe that does help me with my interactions with people, talk to everybody and make their lives a lot easier.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So how does that work?
It's a strange thing.
Yeah. So how does that work then? Are you like an employee of the bank and they assign you to certain people, or do people say one day, I need a private banker, and then they hire you one-on-one? Like, how does that work?
No, so I'm an employee of the bank, and I bring in my own clients.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a banker to bank the clip out, give me a call.
Well,
we had money.
Yeah. I had money. Right now it'd be a lot of like, can you make sure our overdraft protection is working?
Whatever you need, I'm always here for you.
So you work for the bank, but then you go and find the clients. How do you find people that need private bank? That seems like such a special, such a niche,
Yeah, no, it's really just going out and meeting people. Like, it's very interesting because if you talk to like a business owner and you say, who do you bank with? and they name one of like the mega banks. It's like, oh, how's that working out for you? And they say, oh, they don't care about me. I'm just a client to them. I'll say, well, if you ever, want personal care, let me know and we can set something up. And it's amazing how much people don't know that they need a private banker until they have one. So it's an interesting job. I love my job. I've been at the bank for, I think it's going on like almost 14 years. So
wow, that's cool.
So were you always in banking, or did you just kind of fall into that? Or
I was always in banking professionally. My background, I went to college for criminal justice and forensic science, and I just kind of stepped into banking. I had just gotten a kind of like, I knew that worked at a bank, and they got me in, and I switched to the bank that I'm currently at now. But when I first started, I worked in the compliance department in the anti-money laundering area. And then I switched over to a sales position, and then I switched over to the private banking position. So
interesting.
That's fascinating.
I was a teller at a bank for like 6 months.
So it's totally the same thing.
It was just when I seized the opportunity to always wear suspenders.
What?
I don't have any tellers that wear suspenders.
Just felt like something I should do.
Maybe we should bring that back.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm in a bank. I want to wear suspenders. So I wore suspenders every day when I worked at the bank.
Is that true?
It's totally true.
Oh my God, Tom.
I had like 4 ties, but I had like 8 pairs of suspenders.
That is somehow adorable.
I was thinking though that how whenever the kids need a permission slip signed and we're like hunting for pens.
Yeah.
You probably never have that problem. They're all on chains, right?
Never
They're all on chains at her house.
You need to post it. Got tons of them.
She's probably got a whole big jar of suckers. She's probably nothing, just dum-dums aplenty at her house.
I'm sure, Tom.
Do you have dog treats?
Unfortunately, I don't give candy, but if you did, I'd definitely be eating it all day.
Our bank, not only did we have the suckers that we would send out to the drive-thru we had dog treats.
You sent out dog treats?
If you had a dog in your car, or a really ugly kid. I know what bank you worked at. Yeah. If you had a dog in your car or a really ugly kid, we'd send you a dog treat. Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Thought that was a Pekingese. Get that thing shaved or something.
I think I'm starting to understand why you were only there those 6 months.
Yeah. But the bank I worked at was like super local.
Yeah.
Like you've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
Okay. Yeah, that's funny.
So, oh gosh, we kind of went through that quick.
I could tell more banking stories.
No,
if you'd like. Hey, did you ever watch Wizards of Waverly Place?
There's actually a reason he's asking you that, believe it or not.
The guy I replaced played Mr. Larry Tate on that show.
Yeah. That's a true story.
How funny. How funny. That could have been you.
I was at one branch, and he left to go to Chicago to join Second City, and they were like, this guy at this other branch is funny, and our funny guy just left. And so they transferred me to that branch solely based on the fact, and had nothing to do with banking.
Only because you were funny.
Because somebody thought I was funny. And they moved me to a totally different branch.
Oh my word!
Is that why you were only there for 6 months?
Yeah, and I didn't like the new branch, so I quit.
That's funny.
So, how often do you get in the studio?
As much as I can. So Jess's schedule changed. She used to teach 5:30s on Thursdays, and I would go every Thursday. So I try and go in every Saturday that I can. It's great because I'm very fortunate. I live, 40 minutes outside of the city. I work in Manhattan, so I can leave work, go take a class, and go home. But on the weekends and stuff, especially people that when they want to come in, it's amazing that you get to crew. They fly from everywhere to come in for these classes. So I feel very responsible. That when they're coming in, I try and organize things, whether it's, a group class. I just was emailing with the studio. I have 3 group classes booked for the month of February.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, because we have people coming in. I have a group of friends that I met through the Tread. Did you do the treading through July? Remember that last July, there was like a Tread. It was like you had to take a certain amount of classes every day or every week.
Yeah, that's familiar. Yes.
Yeah. So I was placed on a team with these 5 amazing people, and I clicked with them immediately. And I talked to these women every single day. We are on Messenger all day. and they're all coming in next week on Thursday. I took off of work and we are doing all things Peloton. I feel like they're like my best friends. I feel like I've known them forever. So we're taking Jess's class. I can't wait to meet her. And some of them have never, well, actually the majority of them have never even been in the studio before. So,
oh my gosh, what a treat.
Yep.
Wow.
They're flying in from all over. And then the week after, we have someone coming in from Utah. At the end of the month, we have somebody coming in from here and from there. So I use it as an excuse. I say to my husband, I have to go. My people are coming in. I have to organize everything. So it's great to actually meet people, face to face. Yeah,
absolutely. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll go as much as I can. I'll be in studio.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
I am very jealous.
So what is your leaderboard name?
My leaderboard name is Coco Loco 6. COCOLOCO and the number 6.
How my
name.
That sounds fun to type. COCOLOC.
Obviously my name is Nicole, and when I was born, my older sister couldn't say Nicole, so she called me Coco. And actually, my entire family calls me Coco. It's very rare that anyone ever calls me Nicole. And then the Loco comes in, obviously, because I'm a little crazy. And then the number 6 because my birthday's on the 6th. So it's been a name that I've had my entire life. So, yeah.
So do you find that being a little crazy is something people look for in a private banker?
You know what's interesting about it is that I remember when my sister had actually come to the city one day, because she lives in Ohio. She came to the city and she said, I want to see where you work. I need to see you in a professional setting. I said, oh, sure. So she comes in and everyone's like, oh, Nicole's sister's here. We have to meet her. And she said to my boss, is Nicole different in work than she is outside of work? And my boss said, he's a young guy. He's a couple of years older than me. He said, no, she's the exact same person. And my sister said, that's petrifying. But I feel like I can't be anything other than like how I normally am.
Totally.
And people love it. It's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's a career based on relationships. And if you have
Absolutely.
no personality,
then you have no relationship.
Who wants to have a relationship?
100%. When I joined my boss's team, he said, when it comes down to it, it doesn't really matter what you know, because if you don't know it, I can teach you. But people just like you. And that's what we need. I said, oh, me? Sure, whatever. Sorry.
So are you from the New York area or the Ohio area?
No, I'm from the New York area. I grew up on Long Island. I went to school in Pennsylvania. And when I graduated, I moved right into the city when I had first started working. So
your sister grew up in New York and moved to Ohio? She's doing it backwards.
Yeah, it's very true. No, she's a professor at the University of Dayton. So
okay. We'll have to give her
allow
that.
it.
So she, after all of her many years of schooling, that's where she settled.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's college town.
That's legit.
Yeah. I'm like, who's just like,
we'll allow it. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, who just wants to like, what sounds great? The bright lights of Ohio.
Said no one ever.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people just starting out with the bike or the tread?
Yeah, I would suggest definitely taking classes with every single instructor. And then once you find your people, connect with their tribe, because I don't think that I would have enjoyed the community of Peloton, the biking community of Peloton, as much as I do if I hadn't have met the Feel Good family. So shout out to the Feel Good family. You guys are honestly like real family. And the same thing with the You Get To crew. Like if I didn't have them, I don't think that I would enjoy it as much, because I feel like you get like really good friendships with that. So definitely find your instructors and find your tribe and set a schedule for yourself. So you know that every single day you're going to take this class at this time, because depending on yourself to show up every single day. So if you set a schedule, find your people, everything will just fall into place.
I agree.
Awesome.
Those are all excellent pieces of advice.
So how can people find you on social media?
So the You Get To crew is You Get To crew on Facebook, and You Get To crew on Instagram, but the 2 is the number 2.
Okay, so it's the number 2.
We're
2 number 2.
Fanatics and the number 2 Instagram, but on Facebook it's spelled out.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy private banking day.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I guess that wraps up another episode. What, pray tell, do you have in store for people next week?
Oh my God, I am so excited. Tune Day is next week.
Ah.
And guys, I got to introduce her because Tom wasn't here.
Well, I was
at the beginning. Like during the intro,
right.
You weren't here.
That's a story we will tell next week.
Yes.
But I was running late through no fault of my own.
Absolutely.
As you can tell, because we're still married.
Yes, that is all true.
So that is what people have to look forward to.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Tune Day tells lots of stories, you guys.
Yes,
you do not want to miss it.
Until then, where can people find you?
People can find me at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on Instagram or Twitter on the bike, and of course the tread at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online, facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Don't forget, we're available wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And of course, sign up for our newsletter at theclipout.com, where you'll get all the links and show notes and pictures of me and Smokey Robinson sent directly to your mailbox. What's not to love? So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling.
And running.
Clip in, set yourself free.